Paranormal Files. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I'm just joking. Of course I saw you there. Otherwise, who would have set up the camera? It was me, Eve Sterwin, and welcome to another episode of Eve Sterwin's Paranormal Files. This episode being the beginning of Season 3. Now, first things first, you see, there's a little thing I want to talk about before I get into the main meat of the episode. You see, I was looking online, and then I saw it. Eve Sterwin finds evidence of Bigfoot. And I was like, what? Wait a second. I didn't find evidence of Bigfoot. I mean, I found evidence of a Yarrafu pendek, but that was like back in the first episode of Season 1. I mean, I haven't covered Bigfoot ever since then. So, I knew I had to investigate. I clicked on that article, and then I began to read. And there it was. Eve Sterwin finds proof of Bigfoot. And I kept reading the article, and it just nothing clicked. I was like, am I going crazy or something? And then I was like, oh, maybe I'm dealing with a doppelganger. Some type of parallel version of me from an alternate evil universe. An evil Sterwin, if you will. You know, I was freaking out like crazy. Like, what's going on? Maybe it's like an alien or something, and he's taking my appearance, and he's trying to take my place in the world or something. And so I went to watch this guy's videos and see exactly who this Eve Sterwin was. And this is what he looks like.
I'm Eve Sterwin, cryptozoologist extraordinaire.
He looks nothing like me, completely different. He just so happens to be another paranormal investigator who has the same name. So it was all fine, nothing to worry about. No doppelgangers, no evil Sterwins. An evil Sterwin, can you even imagine? Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. I'm just joking. Of course I did. It's me, Evil Sterwin, and this is my show, Evil Sterwin's Evil Files. The series in which I, Evil Sterwin, talk about the most evil people in the world. In today's episode, we have 3 really bad beans. First off, we're gonna start with a war criminal. Winston Churchill. And then we're going to move on to someone who just liked to cause chaos everywhere they went. Mother Teresa. And then to end things with a bang, everybody's favourite evil rock star. Of course I'm talking about Elvis Presley. So stick around for the show, and we'll talk about why these 3 evildoers were some of the best. And then we'll move on to the sacrifice. I mean, not only does he look nothing like me, his voice is also completely different. I mean, he's from Canada, and if you hear his voice, you can tell 100% that he's Canadian. Whereas, if you listen to my voice, you can straight away tell that I am 100% not Canadian. So, with all that sorted, other Eve Sterwin, if you're watching this video, keep doing what you're doing, you have my support. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to put in the episode. You know what, I figured another person called Eve Sterwin, who's also a paranormal investigator, pretty freaky. But anyway, now that we've covered that, I'm ready to move on to the main part of the episode. A part I like to call Stopping the Apocalypse. That's good. And I know what you're thinking. Eve, apocalypse? What are you talking about? Well, allow me to tell you a story. Long, long ago, there was an ancient evil demon king known as Mulek. We've actually mentioned him before on the show. When Alex Jones did his conspiracy episodes, that was one of his conspiracies, that Mulek, this evil demon, was returning. And well, he was right. No doubt all of you will remember this, a crazy storm that appeared in the skies all over planet Earth, last week, and it lasted for a few hours, and then suddenly it all disappeared, as if it was never there to begin with, and nobody could explain it. Well, that's because it was a supernatural storm. Yep, they exist, 100%. Alex Jones called me and told me to look out the window, and I saw the storm in the skies. And then he said it was Mulek who was doing this. It was a sign of his return. And so me, Jalix, Wild Phil, and Nigel Narvin all teamed up together to defeat Mulek once and for all. We went to the source of the awakening, where we saw Disfo, my arch nemesis. You see, he was working with Mulek this whole time. You see, Disfo, when he hacked into my broadcast, and did his whole, oh, monsters aren't real thing. The reason he did that is because he wanted to make sure that nobody in the world believed the supernatural existed. So then when Mulek returned, humanity would have no idea how to deal with a threat such as that. But me and my paranormal task force defeated Disfo and Mulek once and for all. While Phil got his net gun and was like, pew, bro, and then he trapped Disfo, and Disfo couldn't use his ancient scepter, which he had been searching the globe for and then found the location of it within an ancient book. And then with Disfo trapped, Nigel Nava ran up and he grabbed hold of the ancient urn that Mulek had been trapped in. You see, he was trapped in an urn long ago because he wasn't able to be defeated. The mystics, the only option they had was to perform a ritual to trap him in the urn, and freeing him from the urn would have started the apocalypse. But we had an idea. We took the urn and we threw it down Bell's Hole. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey Eve, what's Bell's Hole? Well, Bell's Hole is a supposedly bottomless hole which is found in Ohio. You just drop something down there and No, I didn't hear it drop. I didn't hear it. No, it might still be falling. Is it? Because, yeah, that's basically what it's like. And so, as the urn containing Mulek's essence fell down the hole, suddenly, Disfo was like, what's going on? I'm not possessed anymore. And not only was Disfo free, we looked into the sky and saw that the storm was fading away. And it was then that we knew that the apocalypse had been stopped in its tracks. And I know what you're thinking. Hey Eve, that's a really cool story. But where's the footage? Well, that's a very good question. You see, I did have footage, but well, when I was editing it, it kind of, well, there was a little thing popped up in the corner of my screen, and it was like, click on this, you want a new iPad? And I was like, oh, don't mind if I do. And I got a virus on my computer, and it got rid of all the footage, and it even somehow got into my camera and deleted all the footage from that too. So I don't have any footage, unfortunately. Yeah. And of course that means most people won't believe anything that I've just said. but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the apocalypse was stopped, and that people can go outside and look at the sun without a crazy supernatural storm, up there blocking the sun. And also, it's also good that they're not going to be enslaved by a demon, because, nobody wants that. That's a terrible way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Now, although I don't have any apocalyptic footage to put on the show, I do have a guest for today's episode. So, everybody, here's Disfo.
Hello, Eve Sterwin and the viewers of Eve Sterwin's Paranormal Files. It's me, Disfo. I don't know. The hat, the glasses, the academic jacket, I look pretty different. Well, that's because before I was Disfo, before Mulek got inside my head and turned me into this, well, not particularly nice guy. I was known as Professor Farrison Horde, and I travelled the world. I was an archaeologist, you see, and I used to look at all sorts of strange artifacts. That's how I came across Mulek's urn to begin with. I was digging up the ground and I found it there. He spoke to me, got inside my head, and since then, I was his minion, I suppose you could say. But now I'm free, and I'm going to live my life to its fullest.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. But speaking of your name, Disfo, I'm just wondering, why are you still dressed like Disfo? You got the mask on, and you're not possessed anymore, so why are you still keeping up the persona?
What? Oh no, this is my face. When Mulek took over me, both my physical appearance and my voice changed. I mean, this is just what I look like now. I mean, maybe it'll wear off, but who knows?
Oh, okay then.
I'm actually in Florida right now, and I'm here because there's stories of an ancient civilization buried beneath this ground, and I'm gonna dig it up and see what I can find.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Anyway, thank you, Disfo, for coming on the show. It's been nice to have you here as, not my arch nemesis. It's always nice to not have an arch nemesis.
Alright, see ya.
And there we have it, another episode of Eve Sterwin's Paranormal Files in the bag. Next time I will make sure I actually have some footage to show you, and I promise I'm going to stay away from those iPad ads. So with that said, see you in the next episode.